Hi everyone, welcome to Module 3. Today we're going to be talking about and learning how to create a Excel sheet. We're going to be making a .csv file, which is a comma delimited file in Excel. It's pretty simple stuff. I'm going to be introducing where we are going to be getting our data from. It's going to be a new website you haven't used yet in Modules 1 and 2 and it's pretty basic stuff. It's just cut and paste for the most part. So hello everyone again. My name is Gabriel Jimenez. I am with Gateway Wholesale Homes. We are a real estate investment company and we offer distressed properties to a select group of cash buyers that we work with. So in module 1, to kind of recap, you learned how to create a web page. In module 2, you learned how to create a email marketing campaign. Um, and in this module, we do voice broadcasting as well. What that is we have folks that we market to directly in a very specific area to let them know of properties that we have for sale in a particular area. These people, the reason why we're calling these people specifically is because they have shown, according to public records, that they have purchased a property for cash in this particular area. So we're going to be targeting these people. Um, if you have any questions throughout this process, pause it. Reach out to me right now. If I'm not around, you can leave a message for me, and I will definitely call you back. But I just want to drive this message home. My job is to make you as successful as you can. There's no such thing as too many questions. The only thing I ask is that you please do not disappear on me. I really need you as a worker, and I appreciate the job that you're doing. Everyone makes mistakes from time to time. It is what it is. My job is to make sure that we just correct them and that we get it done, get it done right, and that we're all accountable for what we do. I want you all to be able to depend on me just as I need to depend on you guys. So with that being said, let's dive right on in. I'm going to open up the Firefox Mozilla web browser we've been using. This is your smart real estate access login portal. When you set your computer up, you're gonna, just navigate directly to here. I would recommend saving it in a favorites, bookmark it or something like that so you can easily access to it. If you see, I have mine in the Gateway Wholesale business and I have mine under my marketing. So boom, there you would go right there. But what we're going to do is go right in. Again, you're going to use the username and passcodes I've provided to you. Let's see. Log me in from this device. If you get that message, just hit log me in from this device. It just means I may have been in there. Okay, we're going to be choosing the tab Find Cash Buyers. This one is already highlighted. We have private lenders and find motivated sellers. We're, for this purpose, going to be using Find Cash Buyers. By the way, if I ever need you to do a job that involves using one of these other tasks or one of these other databases, all three of the databases we use are right here. It would either be this one, Finding Cash Buyers, or Private Lender Leads. Okay, so Finding Cash Buyers. This is really simple. We're going to be searching by zip code. We're going to click on zip code. In the email that I send you, the one email is going to contain the zip code area that I want you to run this list in. This will be included in the same email that I send you your job for the day or days in. Again, to recap, that email is going to include the asking price. It's going to include the amount of instant equity. It's going to include the retail price as well as the settlement date of the comps that we're using. It's also going to include what the subject line is going to be, whether or not we're going to be using a copied campaign or creating a new one as far as the email piece. And also it will have this information in there, which zip code that I need you to grab the a database from. So as an example, let's just use the zip code 19111. It will pre-select certain zip codes for you. You choose the one that is the one you're looking for. You can choose up to 5. Sometimes I may ask you to do 2 zip codes. Usually if I ask you to do 2, it's because in the state, these 2 zip codes border one another. They're like neighboring to one another. So I'm going to put in 19149. As far as a date range is concerned, you probably can use up to a year. So it's going to be today's date is going to be here, 2/18, 2016. I just would take this back to 2/18, 2015. Typically, we want to do it for about 12 months unless I ask you otherwise. You want to leave this box unchecked. Owner lives outside property state. The reason for that is you want to try to get as many leads as you can. Then you want to click advanced search. You want to go straight down to here. You want to unclick commercial. Sometimes I may ask you to, if there's a lot of names that show up, I may ask you to refine your search a little bit. All you would do is this bar right here indicates what is the minimum amount of properties that a person owns according to public record. Here is one in any. So the minute someone bought one property for cash, it would show up. If let's say you want to deal with someone with a little bit more experience or who has purchased more properties, you can move it up to 2 and 3. Let's do, as an example, a minimum of 2 properties that we want them to own. We took the check mark out of commercial because we only want to look for people who bought residential property, and we don't care what the price is. Let's do search. Now this search can take a couple of minutes. If it spins here for a while, that just means that the list is big. Don't worry, don't try to press refresh necessarily unless it's just stuck. But I've had it sit for up to 5 minutes, just as the notification says right here. Before, when it's a bigger list, the longer it takes. This one shouldn't be too bad though. Okay, we got a total of 276 records. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sort by zip code. If you just hit property zip code tab right here, you can see that all the property zip codes are sorted with the 19149s down below. All right, back to the top here. Okay, you can also sort by amount of properties owned if you want to do it that way. The smallest, now you've got the largest. You can see over here, it tells a little bit about, let's go back down to the smallest. You can see it shows a little bit about who the owner is. Okay, so this guy's name is John Thorpe. Here's his telephone number. Here's the owner's address if we were going to be sending him out a mail piece. Here is the last property that he just bought in this zip code that we're asking about. So 19111, he owns 2 properties. This shows it right here. The sales price of this house is right here. It looks like he paid $125 for it. If you wanted to know, not that we need to know for this purpose, but if you wanted to see what some of the other properties were this guy owned, you would click on this arrow right here, this little blue arrow, and it would show a list of another property that he owns, the area that it's in, and a sales price, and the sale date, the set when he closed on that property, if that information is available. We don't really need that. All I need you to do is this. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to open up Excel, Microsoft Excel. We're going to create a new sheet. All we're doing is highlighting, Control C to copy. Coming over here, Control V. I'm going to spread this out a little bit. You don't want anything else to be in here other than just this data. You're going to scroll down the list again. We're going to copy and paste. You're going to do the same thing. Now here's the thing about this. All of these names over here will not have a telephone number on it. Actually, there will be several that are not. So although we may have pulled a total of 276 records, you will not be building a list size of 276 over here in Excel. This might have half that. It might only have 100, or it might have 80, or 150. Who knows what that number will be until you're finished your list. Now, there is another method that I have you try in some cases. For instance, I would not do this method first. It would only be after you've exhausted getting all of the numbers out of this database first. The next method would be, and this is only if you have time in your day to do it. If you're really interested in building me a big list, we can actually do a skip tracing, which is where we take the name that we do not have a number for. For instance, I'm highlighting this one. We don't have a telephone number for it. We can't always guarantee that we're going to find a telephone number, but how we would do that is this. You're going to go into your Been Verified account. Okay, if I can find it in here. Here we go, Been Verified. You're going to access this with the username and passcode I gave you. You're going to sign in. Up here on the top next to the Been Verified logo is your search options. You can search by people, by phone, by property, and that's what we're going to use. So let me go and grab a name. We've copied Fei Jing. Looks like that's how you might pronounce that. We're going to people. I'm going to paste it in here. I'm going to cut this out. Control X as an X-ray actually cuts the name out. And then you can paste the last name in here. First name has to be in the first box. Last name has to be here. City. We want to go back and check the city that the person is in. Looks like they're in Philadelphia as per their address right here. This is where the owner address is. So this is where you're looking for them. If you can't find it this way, then you can use the address of the property address next to it. But let's try this one first. You want to put Philadelphia. You have to select the state, Pennsylvania, P. Your age, you can leave that blank and just hit search. Okay, so it looks like this is the closest name to our person. Okay, let's just scroll down and see if we can see previous cities down here. It has none available, previous none available. Up here, you've got previous cities. You've got some listed here, and then you've got some listed here. But more importantly, the name is correct. It's exactly how we spelled it. You want to click Access Report. Access Report will build a report for you and take you into this screen. All right, over here it says contact information. It says 2. Sometimes this number might say 7, 8, 9, somewhere around there. It's just you want to click it. It'll take you right to that portion of the page. You see there's 2 phone numbers. If you click each phone number, it'll tell you this is a landline. You go back, click the other number, or click contact information, click this one. This is a mobile number. So what we're going to be doing is you're going to take both these numbers. You're actually going to go back into your Excel sheet over here, and you can type them in, or you can cut them and paste them directly on there. If you do cut and paste, you're going to have to adjust the font and adjust the size, or excuse me, adjust the bold over here and adjust the size. You would just highlight it. You would come down to a size of about 12, and you would unbold it. That might even be a little big. I don't really cut and paste. I just type the numbers in when I'm doing it that way. But the choice is yours. And certainly, if you can suggest a quicker way to do this portion, by all means, I'm all ears. I haven't found a quicker way. Now, incidentally, you are only going to be using this method if you know the person's name, as in this case, we're looking for Fei Jin. If you see a property or an actual business name, like let's find one as an example. Let's find a business. You know what? Let's go up here. The businesses own more properties. Let's just switch it this way. All right. Let's choose Lakeview Loan Service. You know what? Actually, don't when you see really big numbers like this, like 1,000 and stuff like that, 2,000, just skip over those because a lot of time these are actually big mortgage servicers. I normally want to maybe come down here where you start to see like in the 50s or 60s. Maybe make your goal be 100 or lower. You want to maybe highlight the name right like here. See, if you notice in Been Verified, you cannot search by a business name. So what I would actually do in this case is take the actual business, the actual address, the property address. I just cut it and paste it into the property search tab. Philadelphia, PA. Zip code is required. I think we're in 19111. And then you want to hit search. Now, what'll happen is it'll say access report. If a report is available, you can access it here. You click on the access here. Takes a minute to build it. Now, you'll see a person's name right here. Tomalona Akakbo, looks like. All right, so then what I would do is highlight that, copy it. I would go up to the top, go back to people search, paste it in here. City is Philadelphia, state Pennsylvania, and just click the search button and see what happens. It doesn't look like, well, let's see if we got any information. It says access report. Sometimes in this report, what we're looking for is under the contact info. Like it says here, contact information. This time it says 0. But many times what you'll find is that under contact information, you actually may find a telephone number. And then what I would do is that's a lead. We would put that telephone number, copy it over here into our Excel sheet. Now, I only want you doing this Been Verified search if and only we come over and we discover that despite the zip codes, the amount of zip codes that we've put into our search, and after we've compiled a complete list of all of the telephone numbers that we can find next to someone's name, I want that list to be around 120. Okay, I don't if you know if you find that just there's at least 120 in this list over here on the left in the smart database that you can transcribe or cut and paste over to your Excel sheet, that's usually a good size list. If you are not finding that you are at 120, then what I want you to do is either ask me for another zip code to add that is neighboring. That might be the easy solution. But then the next thing is I would want you to go into the Been Verified and do a manual search for people's telephone numbers based on the data that you're finding in here. Now, here's the other portion. You're done over here in your smart software. You've already got the list. Now, incidentally, over here, if you ever wanted to go back or needed to go back and search for any of the searches that we already did, you would just hit the search history button up here. If I click on that, it'll show you a history. Okay. Now, please don't ever export information from here. Reason being is I'm only allotted a certain amount of exports per month, and we don't need to use those credits. I would have to pay for extra credits. It doesn't give you the telephone number data anyway. If I have tried a few sample exports, and I'm not able to get the information that is in the searches that we did exported over into an Excel sheet. Otherwise, I would be doing that by now, and it would speed up this process a little bit. Now, let's go over to the Excel sheet. Oh, by the way, when you're done, I want you to log out, please. That way I can get into my database when and if I need to. Now, now we're over in the Excel sheet. So what you want to do here is you want to save the file. Let's say you've got 100 names in there. You want to save it as If you upload this file directly to the Dropbox, it will hit my folder here. So you're going to be uploading it directly to the Dropbox. In this case, I'm going to be uploading this to my folder, which is going to upload it to the Dropbox. But what you're going to see is, let's go into here, Dropbox. Okay, here's the Dropbox. You're going to upload it like this. Go into Gateway Wholesaling. You're going to have access to Data List. This is where all of our leads go, all of our lead files. You're going to come down here and click on Voice Shot. You will also have access to this folder. You want to, you're only seeing a few in here now because you want to come down here where it says Save as Type. Right now the type is selected as Excel Workbook, but you actually want to switch this to CSV, comma, delimited. CSV, comma, delimited, you want to check that. Then all you're going to do, actually, you know what? Let me see something. Here they go. You want to, I'm sorry, I skipped a step. So what it is you don't want to just save it in here. You want to click into VIP buyers list and then save it in here. Now, depending on the type of list I'm having you run, there are only two types of lists I'll ever really need you to run. One will be my VIP cash buyers list. I'm going to show you how to access that. The other one is this one right here, the zip code list. This is the one you just created. So how I need you to label it in here is you would go to label it. You would start it out with the word zip code. You would put the name, the zip code or zip codes. If we, for instance, if we use two zip codes, you'd write them both here. You can separate them with a dash, just like that. You want to type another dash, write cash buyers, and then you want to write how many are in it. 120 count. That's it. And then when you press save, it's going to ask you, are you sure you want to save it as a comma delimited? It's also going to say, let me show you here. I'm going to just write test in here though. We're going to do save. This box will come up. It says some features in your workbook might be lost if you save it as CSV comma delimited. Do you want to keep using that format? You simply click yes. That's it. Now, when I go into my Dropbox, go in the data list, go down to voice shot, go into VIP buyers list. I should see my test. There it goes. Just says, just show me here that it's already open. Okay, and you'll see that, and that's, so when you upload it, you're uploading it to there. What I'm doing with this information, once I obtain it from you, is I'm taking this and I'm uploading it into my voice broadcasting dialer system. I don't anticipate you all setting those schedules, so I'm not going to put a training on how to do that. If and when it comes up that you will need to upload those for me, I'll be adding a training module in, teaching you how to do that. It's pretty simple, but it's not something that I'm going to have you doing at the moment. Either way. So that is exactly how you create a CSV file working in Excel to be used for my dialing voice broadcasting system. There are two lists. So here's how you created the zip code one. That's where we got from here. The other type of list that you will be creating is called the VIP cash buyers list. It's the next one that's over here that says count. It says 12 count next to it over here. Okay. How you're going to get that is real simple. You're going to go back into the GoDaddy site. So you're going to log in with the username and passcode you've been provided. You're going to go over here. If you get this screen, you're going to go over here to Gateway Wholesale Homes. You don't want to click on the left where it says GoDaddy Starter. You want to click on Gateway Wholesale Homes. Many times it'll bypass this step. You want to go, and this is the tab. This is a screen you're familiar with. You started out though when you made the email marketing campaign in Module 2. You started out using Dashboard. For this purpose, you're going to be using the Subscribers tab. You simply click on it. Over on the left here, excuse me, are my lists. What you're going to do is click on VIP buyers because we're creating a VIP buyers list. You'll see there are only 14 people in this list. You're going to come over here at what you're going to select email so that all of the email checkboxes have been selected. You're going to come over to the right where it says export. Click the export button. You're going to export it as a .csv. This is the same kind of format that you saved the last file in. You press export. It says it'll shoot me an email when this is done. So let me see. Actually, I think this shoots me the actual email. I'll have to forward this to you when this comes. You know what? When this portion is done and I get this email, I will simply forward it back over directly to your email because this is what's going to happen. And I don't know a way to add your personal email into here. So this is the only step where you're going to have to wait for me to re-forward this Excel sheet to you. Or actually, I will upload it into the Dropbox and you'll know it's available. I'll shoot you an email to let you know that it's available. But for me, I would come down to my email that it would go to. Here, I believe it's in this one. Sync my folders, it's syncing. This takes a minute sometimes to get and receive these emails. So let's just sit tight here until it comes across, because really that is the next step. So okay, so GoDaddy, here it is. Your list has your exported list is ready. This is what I'm getting. Okay, I'm getting it directly to my email. It says download your subscriber list. When I actually download this, it's going to ask me to open. Of course, I want to take a look at it. I'm going to download this and save it directly into the Dropbox for you. Now, here's the thing. In this database, you'll notice there are a lot of fields in here. There's name, there's email addresses, telephone numbers, there's the date created. We don't need any of this information, okay? The only information we need, the only information is the phone numbers. How I would start though is by doing this. You can highlight the whole column, press Control C, go up into File, just open up a whole new page, click New, and then highlight the first column and just paste it in there. Now, if you notice in number 1 here, the word phone appears. You want to click in that so that the whole cell is highlighted, right click and press delete. You don't want any wording, you only want telephone numbers. My data system, dialer system, cannot read anything else except for phone numbers. We do not need to remove dashes or parentheses. We can, just as long as the phone number is in one of the formats you've seen, or it can be in all sequential numbers with no hyphens or dashes in between it. We can get rid of this blank cell as well. Okay. Once this is completed and done, you're going to save it exactly the same way you saved the last one. You're going to go to File, Save As. You're going to be using Dropbox, but for this purpose, I need to get into mine from here. You're going to go to Gateway Wholesale, go to Data List, Voice Shot, VIP Buyers List. You're going to Save As Type. Right now, it's reading Excel workbook. You're going to switch this to CSV, comma delimited. Right here. You're going to select that. And now you're going to name it. And you're going to name it starting out My VIP Cash Buyers. You're going to put the amount of the count. So in this case, it was 14 count. That way I know how many people are being called out of this list. Then you would just simply click Save. Again, the same way, I'm going to just click Test again. It's going to say it already exists because let me just do Test 1. Of course, you'd be naming this whatever the updated one is. Now, if in the event, let's say you did rename, you named it another, My VIP Cash Buyers, and it was still the same 14 count or 12 count, you just would hit to replace it and would ask you, do you want to replace existing file? Just press yes. So in this case, save. When this message comes up again, some features in your workbook might be lost. That's okay. Just press yes. And now, when I go back into and if you close it out, it'll say don't save. You've already saved it, so you can just click don't save. You don't need this one anymore. This is the one that I forwarded or I uploaded into the database or the Dropbox for you. Again, you've removed everything out of your or more directly. You've actually copied this cell directly out of it into a clean sheet. You don't need this anymore. And now when I go to view, here we go. I see the test one right in here, which is the one you just added. And that's it. So once again, I thank you very much for taking the time to learn these modules. This training is very important to your success. And again, because it's important to your success, it's important to my success. Please ask me questions if you need, or I should say when you need, because everybody has questions. My job is to answer those questions for you and bring you up to speed and make you an expert. Again, we our success is tied into one another. The better you do, the better we'll do. So I'm really here to help you. Please don't disappear on me. Please don't run away. If there's something you're nervous about, we can talk it through, and I will help you get to the to a resolution. I look forward to the next module, speaking to you in that one. I'm not exactly sure as of now which one it's going to be, but it probably will have something to do with how to submit bids to the REO lenders. Again, it's another short process, but I'm just not sure if that one's getting loaded as module 4 next or not. But until the next time, I'll see you all later.